There are some truths in life that are difficult to face. Not because they are scandals. Not because they are secrets meant to destroy lives. But because they represent painful realities that people sometimes try to shield us from. Families do it out of love. Parents do it out of protection. And those closest to us often believe they are sparing us unnecessary pain. For someone born into royalty, however, those hidden realities can become even more complicated. Because growing up inside a monarchy means living with traditions, expectations, and responsibilities that most people will never fully understand. And while there is no publicly confirmed evidence that Princess Leonor was deliberately kept unaware of any specific heartbreaking secret for years, there is one emotional truth that many believe defines her life more than anything else. The heartbreaking reality that her future was decided long before she was old enough to choose it. From the moment Princess Leonor entered the world, her destiny had already been written. Unlike most children, who are free to dream about becoming anything they desire, Leonor's path was established from birth. She was not simply another member of the Spanish royal family. She was the heir, the future queen, the symbol of continuity, the person who would one day carry centuries of history on her shoulders. As a child, she likely experienced life much like many other young girls. Family gatherings, school, friendships, laughter, curiosity, dreams. But as she grew older, the reality of her position became impossible to ignore. And perhaps that realization itself carried a kind of heartbreak. Because while millions admire the glamour associated with royalty, few truly understand the sacrifices hidden behind palace walls. The crown is often seen as a privilege. But privilege comes with obligations. And obligations can sometimes feel overwhelming. Princess Leonor has spent much of her life preparing for responsibilities that would intimidate even seasoned leaders. Public appearances, official ceremonies, international attention, historical expectations, and the knowledge that one day, an entire nation will look to her. That is not something most young people have to consider. For many teenagers and young adults, life is about discovering who they are. They experiment, they change direction, they make mistakes, they dream freely. But for Princess Leonor, many choices have already been shaped by duty. And perhaps that is one of the greatest heartbreaks of all. Not because she resents her future, but because destiny leaves little room for uncertainty. Another difficult reality surrounding royal life is the lack of privacy. Most people can experience joy and sadness away from the public eye. Their mistakes remain personal, their struggles remain private, their emotional moments belong only to them and the people they trust. But for members of royal families, life unfolds under constant observation. Every smile is analyzed, every gesture is discussed. Every appearance becomes a headline. Imagine growing up knowing that millions of strangers have opinions about your life. Imagine knowing that even the smallest mistakes could become international news. That level of scrutiny creates pressures that are difficult to comprehend. And while Princess Leonor has consistently demonstrated remarkable grace and maturity, no one is immune to emotional exhaustion. Strong people have feelings too. Confident people have doubts too. And even future queens experience moments of vulnerability. Perhaps another heartbreak that became clearer with time was understanding the sacrifices required by duty. As Princess Leonor pursued her education and military training, she spent long periods away from home. Like many young people, she experienced the challenges of separation from family. But unlike most people, her absence was connected to preparing for one of the most demanding roles imaginable. Military training represents discipline, service, responsibility, leadership, but it also involves sacrifice. Long days, physical challenges, mental strain, and moments of loneliness. Being away from loved ones is never easy. Missing birthdays, missing celebrations, missing ordinary moments that cannot be replaced. Those sacrifices often remain invisible to the public. People see photographs, people see uniforms, people see ceremonies, but they do not always see the emotional cost behind them. Then there is the weight of expectations. Perhaps one of the heaviest burdens anyone can carry. Society often expects public figures to appear perfect, composed, confident, unshakable, yet perfection is impossible. No human being can meet every expectation. No person can carry responsibility without occasionally feeling overwhelmed. And perhaps that realization itself becomes painful. Because sometimes the people who appear strongest are the very people carrying the heaviest burdens. Princess Leonor has often impressed observers with her confidence and professionalism. Her speeches have demonstrated maturity beyond her years. Her dedication to duty has earned admiration. And her commitment to preparing for the future has become increasingly evident. But admiration can sometimes create unrealistic expectations. People begin to forget that beneath the titles and ceremonies stands a young woman. Someone who experiences fear, someone who experiences uncertainty, someone who experiences emotional struggles just like everyone else. History itself adds another layer of complexity. The Spanish monarchy has faced challenges throughout the years. Every generation of royals inherits not only traditions but also responsibilities and public expectations. Princess Leonor is not simply preparing to become queen. She is preparing to lead an institution shaped by centuries of history. That responsibility alone carries immense emotional weight. Because leadership is never easy. And leadership under constant scrutiny is even harder. There are moments when people assume that wealth and status eliminate suffering. But emotional pain does not recognize titles. Loneliness does not recognize privilege. Pressure does not recognize crowns. No matter how famous or admired someone may be, they remain human. And humanity includes moments of sadness. Moments of doubt. Moments when the burden feels heavier than expected. Perhaps the greatest heartbreak of all is realizing that growing up means accepting realities that cannot be changed. Accepting responsibilities. Accepting sacrifices. Accepting expectations. Accepting the fact that some dreams must coexist with duty. And perhaps Princess Leonor has faced that reality with extraordinary courage. Because despite the pressures surrounding her life, she has continued moving forward. She has embraced education. She has embraced military service. She has embraced her role with dignity. And she has done so while growing up in circumstances unlike those experienced by most people her age. That kind of resilience deserves recognition. Not because it means she is perfect, but because it means she continues despite the challenges. Because resilience is not about never feeling pain. Resilience is about carrying pain and continuing forward anyway. And perhaps that is what makes Princess Leonor's story so relatable. Not because most people understand royal life, but because everyone understands sacrifice. Everyone understands responsibility. Everyone understands moments when life asks more from us than we expected. Everyone understands what it feels like to realize that some things are beyond our control. Maybe the absolute heartbreak was never a hidden scandal. Maybe it was something far more human. The realization that destiny carries a price. The understanding that privilege comes with sacrifice. The acceptance that some responsibilities cannot be avoided. And perhaps those truths were gradually revealed over the years as Princess Leonor matured and embraced the path laid before her. Because growing up often means discovering realities that are difficult to accept. It means learning that life is not always simple. It means recognizing that happiness and sacrifice often exist side by side. And it means finding the strength to continue despite the emotional challenges. Today, Princess Leonor stands as a symbol of Spain's future. A young woman preparing for responsibilities few can imagine. A daughter, a sister, a student, a military trainee, and one day, a queen. Yet beneath all those titles remains something far more important. A human being, someone who feels deeply, someone who hopes, someone who struggles, and someone who, like everyone else, must navigate the difficult truths that come with growing up. Perhaps that is why so many people find her story compelling. Because beneath the crowns and ceremonies lies something universal. The challenge of accepting the life we are given while trying to remain true to ourselves. And maybe that journey, with all its joys and heartbreaks, is what truly defines Princess Leonor. Not the title she will inherit. Not the expectations placed upon her. But the strength she shows as she walks a path that was chosen for her long before she could understand what it meant. And perhaps that strength, more than anything else, will shape the